Welcome to the St. Barnabas Daily Devotion for Friday, the 7th of August. Today's passage is John chapter 10, verses 22 to 30. At that time, the Feast of Dedication took place in Jerusalem. It was winter, and Jesus was walking in the temple courts in Solomon's Colonnade. So the Jews gathered around him and demanded, "How long will you keep us in suspense? If you are the Christ, tell us plainly." "I already told you," Jesus replied, "but you did not believe. The works I do in my Father's name testify on my behalf. But because you are not my sheep, you refuse to believe. My sheep listen to my voice. I know them, and they follow me. I give them eternal life, and they will never perish. No one can snatch them out of my hand. My Father who has given them to me is greater than all. No one can snatch them out of my Father's hand. I and the Father are one." Today's reflections are by Chen, who's one of our student ministers. This passage reassures me when I have doubts, when I see my sin most clearly, when I worry if I'm doing enough of the right things by God. Knowing Jesus as King means being held securely by God. There's full certainty. No one can snatch me from Jesus. No one can snatch me from God's hand. When I trust in Jesus, eternal life is certain. What happens to me in this life, and even beyond this life, is in the hands of the God who is greater than anything in this world. When uncertainty comes into my life, perhaps because of physical pain or relational hardships or coming up short at work, I find myself praying earnestly in dependence on God. When I'm experiencing uncertainty, I'm just far more aware of God and His power. As I read this passage, I see all of my life always in God's hand. That leads to two things I want to apply to my own life. When I feel like my life is in a good spot, I'd like to give thanks more to God for His provision and for whatever will come. And when I'm facing uncertainty, I will practice being dependent. I'll ease my anxieties and burdens by speaking to my Father in heaven. I still want to make sure I take responsibility for what is given to me, but know that God is ultimately in control.